Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for watching. A health unit in our region is charging teens for birth control. We'll tell you why it might be causing a barrier. Plus, Canada pushes harder toward EVs. Starting in 2026, a fifth of all passenger vehicles will need to run on electricity. Project Christmas is spreading gifts and joy to deserving families in our city. We join them on Delivery Day. And it's the shortest day of the year. We'll tell you how some are celebrating the winter solstice. There are some concerns tonight around barriers to birth control in Ontario. It's a drug that's free for anyone under 25 through the province's OHIP program. But teenagers are sometimes charged at one health unit. CBC's Jason Vio broke this story and joins us in studio. Jason, what have you uncovered here?
Well, Kat, I spoke with a young girl in Chatham, Kent, who approached a nurse looking for birth control, and she left empty-handed. That's because she couldn't afford to pay the $10 a month the health unit was asking for. Being so young, she didn't have a job. Now, at first, she said the nurse asked if she had private insurance. That would cover the costs if she went through a pharmacy. She said her parents had coverage but didn't want to use that insurance because she was worried they would find out. That's when she was asked to pay cash for the pills with no prescription. The teen says that wasn't an option. CBC News has chosen not to identify the girl because of her age. Now, here's a bit more of my conversation with the teen, whose voice is also disguised.
So it's like, to learn that we had to pay was really surprising, because I thought that they wouldn't make you pay because we're teenagers and sexual health is important. It made me feel kind of worried. I don't know if it's like I'm worried, I think, because at school it's always, they talk about like health this, health that, and in health class it's always like go on birth control and be safe.
Now, she eventually told her mom about what happened. Her mother was fine with her daughter accessing birth control, but she told CBC News that it's very disappointing and upsetting to learn the health unit was trying to make her pay for it.
Jason, what are the options for a teen looking to get birth control and to do so confidentially?
Well, in the province, it's really through the health unit. It should be through all channels, but it's certainly through the health unit. A teen using their parents' private insurance might be outed through prescription records. Now, I spoke with two people in the field of medical ethics. One says there are often confidentiality concerns for youth around contraception and sexual health services in general. Because of that, Julien Brisson says in many cases, they won't access those services. That can lead to different issues such as unplanned pregnancies, exposure to STIs, and untreated STIs. Another expert says charging for birth control, especially in these circumstances, is problematic.
It appears to me in this situation that they are being charged to circumvent confidentiality concerns. Those teens should never have to worry about confidentiality concerns. What medication they're on is confidential.
So, Jason, why does the health unit in Chatham-Kent charge for birth control?
Well, CK Public Health told me they've been charging $10 per month for many, many years. They call it low-cost birth control. And the health unit says that money helps cover the cost for them of the drug between $20 and $30. But anyone under 25 covered by OHIP without access to private insurance should be able to get that birth control at no cost. Now, I spoke with a nurse who's worked for the Chatham-Kent Health Unit for 2 decades. Carolyn Martin mostly works with teens and says she's been the nurse who has helped teens get that birth control. She says that prescription system creates a barrier for teens, and so does the $10 fee.
I'm not taking some little kid's money that they don't have a job and they're 14. I, Carolyn Martin, am going to pay the $130. You get 13 packs in a year, 4-week packs. Some of these kids live in such poverty, and I just couldn't keep saying to her every month that she was gonna come, I have to ask you for $10. I know it's like asking you for $1,000, but I need $10 from you. I told her, I'm paying for you. I'm just a person who's gonna pay for the year. The relief on this girl's face, out of control.
Jason, is the health unit aware of Martin's concerns?
I spoke with Marnie Van Vlymen. She's the chief nursing official at CK Public Health and oversees the sexual health team as well. When I told her about Martin paying for a teen's birth control, Van Vlymen says she wasn't aware of that. She also says if a teen can't afford it, they will work with them to cover the cost. Van Vlymen says they would never let someone walk away without a resource they needed, but the teen, again, that I spoke with, that we just heard from in this case, says that didn't happen.
Jason, is this happening in Windsor, Essex?
No. So in Windsor, Essex, that's where it requires teens to bring a prescription to get that birth control. At Sarnia's Lambton's Public Health Unit, they absorb the entire cost of birth control and never charge teens. Now, I did reach out to the Ministry of Health to better understand why birth control can be accessed for free by youth from a pharmacy and not a health unit, and if what CK Public Health is doing is allowed. I have not received a response. The health unit tells me they will continue to charge $10 a pack and promise to work with people who can't afford that. Nurse Carolyn Martin wants that $10 charge dropped, saying that will give teens more autonomy over their own reproductive health.
Thanks so much for bringing us this story, Jason.
Thanks.
The push for Canadians to switch to electric vehicles got a boost today. New regulations have been proposed by the federal government. They want 20% of vehicles sold in 2026 powered by electricity. That jumps to 60% of all sales in 2030. By 2035, they want all passenger vehicles sold to be electric. All of this is a move to meet the Liberal government's emissions reduction plans. The most recent full year of data available for new car registrations is from 2021, and that share was 5.2%. The latest report from Stats Canada shows the inflation rate dipped slightly last month, coming in at 6.8% in November from 6.9% the month before. As Nisha Patel reports, while gas prices are offering Canadians some relief, prices at the grocery store are still surging.
Here's my potatoes.
Diane DeBarrow's Christmas dinner looks a little different this year,
Broth.
as soaring food prices take a bite out of her budget.
This year, we really decided on a menu and stuck to it. And we don't need 3 different kinds of potatoes. We don't need 3 different types of vegetables.
DeBarros is making changes for more than just the holidays. Now, every time she does a grocery shop, she compares flyers, checks coupons and apps, and uses reward points.
Our total was $1.41.
The busy mom of 2 says she's cut her monthly grocery bill by hundreds of dollars.
You put as much as you want into it, you'll get as much as you put into it out. So it does take some time, I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't take as much time as you would think.
Across the country, Canadians are trying to cope with inflation that remains stubbornly high, especially for necessities. Groceries cost 11.4% more in November compared to a year ago. Eggs and bread prices spiked double digits. Rents are up nearly 6%, climbing at the fastest pace in 30 years. Homeowners are paying almost 14.5% more in mortgage interest.
We all have to cut back.
Focusing on experiences rather than buying material objects.
I definitely picked up like a couple extra hours at work.
The Bank of Canada has hiked interest rates 7 times this year to get consumers to rein in their spending and bring down inflation. Some analysts say those higher rates could cool the economy enough to trigger a recession early next year.
We expect Canada to undergo a recession, and if the Bank of Canada keeps on pushing, it could become a more severe recession than what we hope for.
The central bank's main goal is getting inflation under control, and so far, progress has been slow. Many economists say if inflation doesn't cool enough, there could be one more interest rate hike next month. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
As we've just seen, grocery bills remain stubbornly high. Meanwhile, profits at grocery chains are way up. And the federal NDP claims corporate greed is driving up food prices. And big grocery should be taxed on their profits to help people cope with inflation. In a year-end interview, CBC News chief political correspondent Rosemary Barton put that idea to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Grocery bills are expected to rise for a family of 4 by $1,000 next year. Your government has implemented a windfall tax on sectors like banking and insurance sectors. What about grocery stores, though, that continue to make a profit at a time when, for a lot of Canadians, that doesn't seem right?
The last thing we want to do is put on a tax that people then just pass along to the consumers. So we have to be careful about what we're doing. We're studying. I know there's been a lot of studies on what's happening with food prices, and we're looking at trying to help people. That's what we've tried to do every step of the way. But I don't think that the simplistic solution, as satisfying as it might sound, is necessarily the right approach here.
You can hear more of what the Prime Minister has to say on healthcare, inflation, and more on Wednesday on The National. Rosemary Barton's full year-end interview with Justin Trudeau airs this Sunday, Christmas Day, at 11:30 a.m. on CBC television. A Windsor couple is spreading holiday cheer through what they call Project Christmas. They support families through Windsor Family Homes and its Adopt a Family program, but also a number of other families through their own initiative, which they started 5 years ago with donations from family, friends, local businesses, and other community members. They load up a U-Haul full of gifts and bring them to families in need. And I joined them on delivery day.
Windsor Family Home is actually how Project Christmas began. We adopted one family for them, and we're just blown away how grateful the family is and how big of a need that was there. Since then, we have committed to growing Project Christmas year over year. We still work with Windsor Family Homes. This year, we had a record year with Windsor Family Home doing 11 families, and us ourselves from nominations in the community will be doing 9 families.
Hey, how are you?
They're all families with kind of special needs, or they've done special things in the community, and we just look for, again, an opportunity to give back to them.
So we do families that have just been struggling and have given back to the community, as well as we've had a lot of families this year where some of the kids have gone through trauma for different reasons, and that's why we do this, is for the kids. And you know, hearing their stories of what they go through just absolutely breaks our heart. And not only that, when we look at their needs list, these young kids are asking for boots, they're asking for bed sheets, they're asking for, you know, winter coats, and those are things that I don't think we should have to think twice about. They're not asking for toys, and that's why we're here today.
We have 10 kids, most are grown, and we still have 5 that live at home with us. My partner just died a few months back, so I'm a single mom now.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Is this your first Christmas without them?
Yes.
How is that? How's that going?
Christmas spirit isn't the same. This means a lot. It's gonna help give them a Christmas.
Something that my parents have always instilled in me is how important giving is. And so I was taught that from a very young age, and my parents did so many different things in the community themselves. And that's what I realize makes me happiest. It's when I'm helping others, it's when we're giving back to the community and giving people an opportunity that don't otherwise have one.
I think you just get to a certain point in your life where Christmas, it evolves into something different. We have everything we need, anything we pretty much want. So it means a lot for, I know, both of us to be able to give back. So it just redefined Christmas for us both.
It felt really good. It felt amazing. They were really nice people to do that.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate this.
Aww.
And we want to tell you about another food bank drop-off for the Sounds of the Season campaign. Students at Ann Noor Private School packed up a truck full of cans. Here's a look at their big haul.
We actually had a contest between all the classes. We challenged them. The winners got a pizza party, and the grade 6 who took charge of this event also got pizza. We enjoy every opportunity that we can get our hands on to help our community, whether it's the coats or the food, and we know that it's in great need. So anything that we can do absolutely will help. There's a study that came out that 27% more people have been using the food banks. I also believe that it's not just a seasonal thing that happens. People are struggling. COVID hit a lot of people very hard, and this type of event needs to be year-round until we can get rid of the necessity to have this.
Bringing cans is something that could help you with your community, and it's like something that it's like really good to do. In this world, there's a lot of people who can't eat, and they're like really sad because they can't eat. So it's really good to like spread happiness, and like food is one of the ways to like give back to your community.
It makes me feel happy, like I get this feeling like, wow, I'm like, thank God I can actually help people in need, I can afford food and basic needs, right? And it's nice to know, like, down in my heart, I was able to give food to the people that actually really do need it.
Winter is officially here, and with that comes longer days. CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa met up with an astronomer who breaks down the change in season.
Oh, there's the sun. You see it?
Yeah.
Just the
At first, it looked like it might not show. which would have been a shame on the shortest day of the year. But when the sun poked above the clouds, astronomer Stephen Pellerin could finally get a good look at it on the hilltop at Malden Park.
The sun today is at its lowest point in the southern sky. All right, and because of that, as the sun travels across the sky, it makes its shortest path because it's close to the horizon.
This is part of why today is known as the winter solstice. It's when winter officially begins in Earth's northern hemisphere, and afterwards, the days actually start to get longer.
The northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, which means that the sunlight appears to be coming from a more southerly direction. And what that means is that as the Earth spins, we end up going from the shadow side on one side of the Earth to the other side in a shorter arc. So that means that because we're tilted towards the shadow, it takes us less time to get from one side of the shadow to the other. So we have short days and long nights.
And while many know today as the shortest day of the year, astronomers like Pellerin like to see it as the longest night.
For astronomers, this is a benefit because having longer nights means that we can take our telescopes out and do research for a longer period of time.
The winter solstice is astronomically significant, but for some, it's also spiritually meaningful.
Well, it is a time of reflection for sure.
Tracy Rogers is co-hosting a drumming circle at her shop, White Feather Holistic Arts, to ring in the winter solstice.
Hopefully what we're doing with the drum circle, though, is raising the vibration. That's our intention with it. We want people to get into that happy energy. Let's look forward to what's coming.
And so I took to the streets to find out what Windsorites are bringing into this next season of their life.
Actually, I'm starting my professional journey here in Canada.
I want to be more positive. I want to do better in school, so I want to be more focused and not procrastinate as much.
However you spent this year's shortest day, remember that there's only longer ones ahead. Jennifer LaGrassa, CBC News, Windsor.
And speaking of the winter solstice, we're waiting for that winter storm later this week. Dahlia Ashtree will have more on our weather forecast coming right up. Stay with us. Dahlia Ashby joins us now for a look at our weather forecast. Dahlia, it is the first day of winter, but it really didn't look or feel that way today.
It didn't today, but it's about to look a lot like Christmas on Thursday and Friday. Henry, I thought you were going to join me. That was, you know what?
It was like Christmas.
I love it. Thank you.
Toys at every store. See, I got you. Okay, keep going.
You.
Sorry,
well,
go on.
It's going to, yes, it is going to look a lot more like a white Christmas as we get towards, or we approach the weekend, shall I say. As for today, it really didn't. Tomorrow is going to be a damp one for the most part, and then it's going to mix in with some snow. And then really by Friday is where the big story is at, which we'll get to in a bit. The normal high usually is -2, and today it's -1. So sitting a bit below those seasonal temperatures, a little bit chilly today. And then the normal low is -6, and today's low is -7. It is currently in -2 in Windsor, a little chilly in Sarnia, -5. Of course, you factor in the wind chill and it feels much cooler. There is a weather statement effect that is in effect, and that is for all of Ontario, really, especially out in Ottawa. It's really bad, going to be bad out there. But let's take a look here. So Thursday, for the most part, not so bad. 4 o'clock hits, and there we go, folks. We see a lot of that rain right there. And you see that pink and blue, that means that it will be mixing in with that flurry, so that could mean some slick roads. It will really start to intensify by the evening, so that means we're going to see a lot more snow here coming in from south of the border, giving us closer to that Christmas Eve, that white Christmas that we are talking about. That is going to go in from Friday. Some strong winds on Friday. A blizzard is really what we're anticipating. And of course, with all of that means that there is a possibility of some down power lines, some power outages, just something to look out for. And if you have any travel plans, you might want to reconsider and make some new accommodations as you head into the holiday weekend, because there could be some delayed flights. And we're even hearing some canceled flights have already started from today at Pearson Airport, at least. So there we go. Some snow is expected. It gets quite heavy in Windsor as we head into Friday evening. Starts to build up. We could be seeing up to 10 centimeters of snow on Friday to Saturday. Some Sunday, some flurries is anticipated. Some strong winds as well, 39 kilometers an hour. And we could be seeing it really increase up to 62 kilometers an hour and even close to 80 kilometers an hour by Friday. So strong winds, you factor in a blizzard, it's going to be a rough one on Friday is what we're anticipating, and some dangerous road conditions potentially. So if you don't need to be outside, you don't need to go out. Tonight temperatures will drop to a low -2. Similar conditions all across southwestern Ontario. So like I said, right there is that white Christmas that we are anticipating on Sunday, Christmas Eve as well. But really Thursday, mostly rain by the evening, mixing in for some slick roads. Friday, we'll even have some freezing conditions. And really the coldest day is going to be Saturday when we factor in that wind chill. It'll feel like -17. And by Monday, we get a little bit of a break, a little bit of sunshine on the way. Katarina?
Dahlia, now I have all these Christmas songs in my head, whether it's I'll be home for Christmas,
yes.
Will I be home for Christmas?
It's going to be a white Christmas,
Dreaming of a white Christmas.
Listen, we got Thursday and Friday to come up with some more duets here.
We'll get our singing routine down.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Thanks, Dahlia.
Thank you.
When we come back, keep an eye out for some cool art pieces popping up in downtown Windsor. We'll tell you all about it after the break. Some towering art has taken over part of downtown Windsor. It's making a bit of a splash from salvaged wood and recycled pieces. One of the artists says it's part of a push to remind people what the city's core has to offer.
Yeah, so this one is it's basically a stack of cubes that I made out of older pieces of art that I had. And yeah, it's just something fun people can play with, walk by, kind of change the dynamic of it. We built it with the intention of it being outside, all three of these. They're for the public to interact with, and we've tried to use as much recycled material as possible. So I think we only spent about $200 in materials for all three of these as a point to try and use recycled stuff and repurpose stuff. I wouldn't say it's directly related to Christmas or any holiday, but it is for the holidays to try and get people out and like explore your city, explore some of the art in the alleys that we have. And we're trying to make a big effort with the BIA to kind of incorporate the stuff I've already done in Windsor with some new projects. I'm always championing for downtown. We got hit hard in the last decade, and it's not all bad down here. And I don't like the reputation that downtown Windsor sometimes gets. It's not warranted. It's basically a knee-jerk reaction at this point. And we're trying to rebrand it and recontextualize what it is to live downtown and be downtown. We're proud of it, and we want people to be proud of their downtown. It's the heart of our city, and it has so much to give and so much to offer if you just give it a chance, you know?
You're going to want to keep your eyes open tomorrow. Denial plans on hosting an all-day art hunt. He says that more than 250 pieces will be hidden across the city. And you can find the locations on his Instagram account @EnjoyDenial. An 82-year-old crossing guard has been a fixture at a school crosswalk in Charlottetown for 15 years. And she was a little nervous when she was called into the school this week.
I was a little scared. Are they going to retire me today? Because I said I'm not ready for that.
But it was nothing of the sort. Instead, Mary Morrison arrived to a celebrity welcome. And the news, she was being recognized as the Crossing Guard of the Year. The high school students made sure Morrison knew how much she was appreciated. Morrison says they gave her the thrill of her life, and she has no intention of stepping away from her job at what's become known as Mary's Corner. And that is it for CBC Windsor News. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/Windsor. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful night.